Hey look, we all did a thing! As a thank you for helping me build this channel, I felt it was appropriate to do a video on building the biggest thing in the X universe, the self-sufficient wharf. And the shipyard, there'll be a few of those in there. It looks big, and it definitely is, but it isn't until you fly inside that you can appreciate just how huge the station is. Personally, this is the main draw for me, just the sheer scale and awe of this megastructure. Sometimes I find myself getting lost in time, flying around and watching the little civilian ships go about their day. But there are practical benefits to building it. This is essentially the Wonders victory in any other 4X game, as once you have it, you've basically won, as you can now do whatever you want. For this video, I'm going to be focusing on the Commonwealth, as their wharfs are more complicated, but the same principles will apply to Terrans. You just have less module types to worry about. When it comes to building these, you really just add production factories and storage containers as you need them. Eventually you will get to that point, but in the beginning there is some planning that needs to be done, some things that have to be considered. Such as money. You are going to need a lot of it. We're talking about billions here. You need enough to make it rain money just so you can see it all burn away into the fires of industry. See these blueprints? You're going to need basically all of them. There are research options through the player headquarters that allow you to steal blueprints using EMPs, and I highly recommend doing that. While this will save you a lot of money, you can't do this for all the blueprints. In fact, for many of them, you're still going to have to buy. That includes the wharf and shipyards themselves. There is no research option for stealing those. And don't forget time. Putting this all together is going to take days, even weeks. This is most definitely a long-term commitment. But you have decided that is fine. You are willing to invest the required funds and time into making this project a reality. So now you need to figure out where to put it. If you are using your player headquarters, then you already have your answer. Grand Exchange. Using the player headquarters gives another advantage in that you can move it around through the teleport research. It's expensive to do, but for a megastructure such as the one we will be making, it can definitely be worth it. Otherwise, you need to make sure you're within range of all the raw resources. Now your manager will hit 5 stars. There is too much going on for him to not get there, so that's your limit. Make sure your wharf is within 5 jumps of all the raw resources, which honestly opens up most of the map. And you can use trade stations to extend that range even farther if you really wanted to by setting up relay hubs. I made this video here where one of the example stations is a trade station. If you want to know how to set one of these up, I'll link it in the description. Sectors also have a workforce availability bonus. The higher it is, the faster your habitation modules will fill. This is admittedly the most minor of concerns, but if you are looking to get the maximum for your location, this is something to keep in mind. So you've done that step. You now know where you want to place your wharf. Now we need to build it. While not necessary, I highly recommend getting your own construction ship. They are big ships, so watch out for oncoming traffic. This is so you can maximize the number of builder drones, well up to 30 anyways, to reduce build times. Pilot skill doesn't matter for this, so at least that is one less thing you have to worry about. But what is that ship going to be building? Hull parts and energy cells. You're putting together an entire production chain, and everything you build is going to require those 2 materials. You'll also need Claytronics, but only for the construction phase. And every game I've played, they have never been a rare commodity, so buying them from the other factions is usually easier. Your first block of buildings will have 9 hull parts, 2 energy cells, 1 graphene, and 5 refined metals. Don't forget storage. A single large container, large solid, and large liquid should be fine for now. This setup leaves the minimum amount of methane in refined metals in storage. You want as much of that being turned into hull parts as you can. The hull parts and spare energy cells will be more than enough to keep up with the construction ship, and you can sell the excess to pay for the Claytronics. This will also be a good time to put down food, medical supplies, and habitation as well. Building up your workforce will take a long time, So best get that started as soon as you can, and you will need habitation modules to get crews for your ship, so don't skip out. Once that initial block of modules have been constructed, you now work your way up the chain. Don't worry too much at this point on how many of each module you need, just get to where you are constantly building every material. We can always add more later, and we definitely will, but we don't have to worry about that for now. Because now, we can finally get to build our wharf. Once that is done, you should have a ship trader, but if not, you'll need to hire one. Anyone will work, none of the stats seem to matter. If you have a workforce, then your dock should be populated, so talk to one of them and tell them to work somewhere else. In this case, the ship trader. Don't forget to add a shipyard for your bigger ships, and you'll probably want more than one. This is because a wharf can build 18 small ships and 8 medium ships at the same time, but a shipyard can only build one at a time. Now that your wharf and shipyards are operational, time to get more blueprints. You're going to need the blueprint of a ship to actually build it. And not just the ship. You'll need the blueprint for the engines, the blueprint for the weapons, the blueprint for just everything. And if you want the other factions to buy from you, I mean everything. While you may only use best-in-class equipment, the AI likes to mix and match and use the MK1 variants. They are also a big fan of consumables, so even if you don't use them, you're going to need to be able to build it. The more options you have for the AI, the better, because if they can't get the exact product from you that they want, they're just going to go buy it from somewhere else. So there you go. We now have a working, self-sufficient wharf and shipyard. While you are making ships, you're going to have production bottlenecks. Just locate the materials you need and make the necessary factories or ships to open it back up. How often this will happen and how many factories of each ware you need is completely dependent on how many ships you make per production cycle. But by this point, you should have a good grasp on how the production chain works, and adding more factories will now be a non-issue for you. And once again, a big thank you to all of you for getting this channel to where it is. There will be a delay in the release of the next video. Now that I am a YouTube partner, I need to take some time to figure out what that actually means. Plus, I would like to take a day or two off to celebrate this milestone. And probably another day or two so I can recover from that celebration. But before we go, if you liked the video or found this helpful, please give a click to all the good buttons at the bottom and share so that more people can see it. Until next time, fly safe.